Bernie Sanders is out there talking about we're disconnected from the middle class, when in fact he was 100% behind Harris, promoting her campaign. Hey, look, you got to be more pragmatic when you're running. You need the votes, then you can do it. In other words, he was all for the deception. Trump's not going to win, I feel the vibe, and so forth. And now he's out there. And the media go to these same people. James, what do you think? The Democrats were a mess. Bernie, what do you think? Well, we're disconnected from the American people. It wasn't a well-run campaign. They're the problem. One of the things I'd like to do is hold people to account. No, I don't mean, throw them in prison or fire them. I don't have that kind of power. It's too bad. I'm talking about people who are very public, who humiliated themselves, who said very stupid things, and really, they have no defense. They have nothing that they can say for themselves. And the sickening irony of this is they'll continue to get paid millions. They'll continue to have their platforms. They'll continue to be promoted. There's no accountability in media, in entertainment, none, except you. CNN's ratings are tanking. MSNBC's ratings are tanking. And that's not even mostly us. That's their audience, right? But I think people are getting sick and tired of the same nasty, attacks, personal attacks, and really not much intelligence, not much thinking that's behind any of it. So let's take a look. Here's President Trump will never be president, and they laugh and they mock, and they're totally out of it. Go.
He's not going to be president. Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States. Take it to the bank. Okay. I guarantee it.
All right, all right.
I think if he becomes the president, he'll make it great, because the States is already great.
I think that man will be president of the United States right about the time that spaceships come down filled with dinosaurs and red capes.
All right, let's stop a second. This is also 2016, but look at this guy. What's he have, 17 Academy Awards? I mean, I think he's Forrest Gump in real life, you want to know the truth. But these guys are so full of themselves. Go ahead.
Hey, Tom.
Take it from me. How about that?
Cheers, Tom.
And then, of course, there's Donald Trump.
I hate this guy.
Donald Trump has been saying that he will run for president as a Republican, which is surprising since I just assumed he was running as a joke.
Donald Trump, just last week, he confirmed to the National Review that he is again considering a run in 2016.
Do it. Do it. Look.
He did it. He did it, you stupid Brit. He did it. And he won. And then he won again. And then he won again. Go ahead.
Do it. I will personally write you a campaign check now on behalf of this country, which does not want you to be president, but which badly wants you to run.
So when you stand and deliver that State of the Union address, in no part of
What's happened to him? Remember this sicko? Sicko from NBC Today show? No, not Obama. I'm talking about the other one. Him on the right there. Go ahead.
Mind or brain, can you imagine Donald Trump standing up one day and delivering a State of the Union address?
Well, I can imagine it in a Saturday night skit.
Let me just say, he's destroyed whatever legacy he had in the past 2 months. The other guy has been broomed because he's a pervert and worse. So just keep in mind who we're dealing with here when you really figure out who these people are. Obama, the things he said to black young men was just grotesque. That could have come out of the old Confederacy. Go ahead.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
He will never be president of the United States.
And we better be ready for the fact that he might be leading the Republican ticket next. I know you don't believe that, but I want to go.
Stop. There's Stephanopoulos. This punk was undermining Trump every step of the way in both elections, actually all 3 elections. And there he is, ABC News. Like he knows something. He doesn't know anything. He was head of the war room under Clinton. He's a hack. And yet he'll stay there. Disney loves him. He'll stay on ABC no matter what. Again, none of them are held to account. Go.
Okay, here we are. And which Republican candidate has the best chance of winning the general election?
Of the declared ones?
Now, let me stop here a minute. She's turned out to be a huge Trump hater and a bizarro, absolute weirdo. But nonetheless, she got this right. Go.
Right now, Donald Trump.
There's Joy Reid, complete bigot.
And so, right now, Mr. Trump, to answer your call for political honesty, I just want to say, you're not going to be president, all right? It's been fun. It's been great.
I remember the old shows. Maybe many of you don't, but you can watch them on TV. Steve Allen and Johnny Carson and even Jay Leno. They were hilarious. They were funny. They were very apolitical. These guys are not funny. They're not comedians. They're totally political. And so they get boring. And they don't have great ratings. This is network TV. Gutfeld beats them most of the time. He's cable. Network TV is a built-in massive audience. It's free. You don't have to pay a cable fee. And they still have very, very low numbers and make $10, $20, $30 million a year. I don't get it. They're not funny. And they're not building their audiences. They're cratering their audiences. Go ahead.
But come on, buddy. All, let's say, cow poo-poo aside, there is zero chance we'll be seeing you being sworn in on the Capitol steps with your hand on a giant golden Bible.
See how embarrassing this is for them? And they'll keep at it, and they do keep at it, and it doesn't matter. They lose audiences because these corporatists don't really care. Some of them seem to start to care. On CNN they're going to take an axe to that place, maybe MSNBC, but they're not going to change The View. They're not going to change these comedians. Actually, they're jokes. And they are the reason why people are at each other's throats. They're the reason why. The Joy Reids, the Joe Scarboroughs, the Nicole Wallaces, and these guys. Go ahead.
Let's be clear. Donald Trump will lose the election.
This is another guy who about 2-3 days ago on CNN was telling reporters how disconnected they were from the American people, admonishing them and so forth. And here he is, disconnected from the American people. We get this all the time. Bernie Sanders is out there talking about we're disconnected from the middle class, when in fact he was 100% behind Harris, promoting her campaign and the way she was campaigning. Hey, look, you got to be more pragmatic when you're running. You need the votes. Then you can do it. In other words, he was all for the deception. And now he's lecturing. Carville is another one. Trump's not going to win. I feel the vibe and so forth. And now he's out there. And the media go to these same people for their input. James, what do you think? The Democrats were a mess. Bernie, what do you think? Well, we're disconnected from the American people. It wasn't a well-run campaign. They're the problem. And the media are the problem. This guy's the problem. Go ahead. Oh, my God.
Chance to be different and really have a chance to change things, but he doesn't do the work. He's lazy.
We talk about him every day, and we continuously bash him.
He's not going to be the president. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
And we're coming to a point where if you're Hillary Clinton, you're honestly probably starting to think about not just whether you will win, but how big your win will be.
So this is the thing. This is why they get so angry when they lose. They are convincing themselves in their little circle of Democrats, radical leftists, their little social circles, whether they're in New York or Washington or L.A., how can the American people not agree with us? They don't have any idea what's going on all over the country, whether it's young black men, whether it's Hispanics on the border, whether it's rural America, people at a diner. They have no connection with these people whatsoever, none. So they indulge themselves. They convince themselves of their position. And then it's like, oh, we lost. Well, they must be racist. They must be misogynist. They must be this. Or then they say, well, we're disconnected. You heard the CNN. Well, we're disconnected. We didn't check with the people. Okay, are they going to fix it next time? No. They do this all the time. And these corporatists, for the most part, they're not going to fix it either, the ones that own these platforms. Go.
And then you say that Donald Trump has the best day in the entire world, completely outperforms expectations, and he wins all of the toss-up states. He wins all 5 of those states, plus that electoral college vote in Maine that he's after. If he wins all of the toss-ups, which would be insane because nobody wins all of the toss-up states, even if Donald Trump did win all of the toss-up states, he would still lose.
A wake-up call to the Republican Party. Despite Boris thinking that Donald Trump could win New York, like this, the presidential race is over.
Could I just cut through? I have one thing to say, one thing only, and that is that this race is over.
Bob Beckel, who ran Mondale's campaign, one of the greatest losses in electoral history. Mondale barely won his own state, Minnesota. Remember that, folks? Well, if you don't, I'm telling you, 1984, Reagan won 49 states. And he almost won Minnesota. He lost Minnesota by 3,000 votes, which means if 1,500 votes had switched sides, Reagan would have won Minnesota, Mondale State. And he got almost 60% of the popular vote. We've never seen anything like that in modern American history. And Bob Beckel, who was very friendly to me, very nice to me, he was a dog guy and so forth. Look how wrong they are. They bring these guys on who are wrong all the time. They, honestly, even our networks that we like, they bring on the Bush guys all the time. They're trashing Trump. They're undermining Trump. Trump wins, and then they keep bringing them back, and they say, what a fantastic race. I don't know. Go ahead.
Tomorrow morning, the money will dry up. The Republicans will start to hide. Trump has no place to go. This race, effectively, as of tonight, is no longer a presidential race. I mean, everything I know about presidential politics.
Embarrassing as hell, is it not?
I've never seen one like this. This race is over. You might as well accept it. And the question now is, how do you minimize damage? And the only way you can do that, it seems to me, is to try to grab hold of some old conservative value things.
Excuse me, Mondale got destroyed in '84. Try to do what Mondale did in '84. Go ahead. This is crazy.
It will never, ever, ever happen.
President Obama will go down as perhaps the worst president in the history of the United States! Exclamation point at real Donald Trump. Well, at real Donald Trump, at least I will go down as a president.
And a lousy one. I mean, when you think about Obama, what kind of president was he? He was lousy.
For all this and much more, sign up for Levin TV.